Walk with me for a few minutes. So on my mind this morning is all of you game changers, you change makers, you fire starters, you igniters, you activators, you catalysts, you innovators. And a common thing that all individuals with that natural drive have, and that's the ability to have a vision of what can come tomorrow, to create an unstoppable urgency within them today. And more so, I want to have a conversation with y'all this morning on how we can all create that positive urgency inside all of us to catapult us forward. Urgency is one of my favorite topics because I believe it is a differentiator. It is the separator. You know, I've been in the personal growth lane, man, for as long as I can remember now. Got introduced when I was 19 to kind of that whole genre of self-education. That was when it was still on like CDs, and I had to use the Discman in my car with the little cassette tape with the cord to make the thing play. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Some of you guys are like, what's a CD? Had to read books. It was before the day and age where we could get memes every minute, podcasts on demand. And it's been a long 2 decades in that space. I love it. I think it's something everybody needs to dive into, grow ourselves, expand ourselves, learn ourselves. I think it's a key part of our time here. But I remember when I first started hearing people like Tony Robbins, you know, in his voice, and he'd talk about, well, you got to make your shoulds your musts, right? It's so simple. Just everything you know you should do, just make it something you must do. I'm like, oh, it makes logical sense. But there's always a voice in the back of my head that's like, well, how the heck do you do that? I know what I know what I must do, right? I know what I need to do. I know right now it's something I should do and I'm not doing. I don't know how to make it something that I must do. So it wasn't very useful. How do I make my shoulds my musts? Okay, I got it. There's a big difference between knowing and doing. They're dramatically different things. There's a lot of us that know a lot of things. But the gap between those that know the path and those that walk the path is a giant gap. The gap that know the path versus the gaps that run the path is an even bigger gap. You see, it's not just about knowing, it's about how do we get across that gap into doing, and doing at the highest level. And my thoughts on the topic is urgency. How do we create real, raw, internal, intrinsic urgency? It's probably one of the most common questions I get. Sometimes I'll go live on my Instagram. If we're not connected, connect. Shoot me a DM at Blake Mallen or my Facebook page. Do some Q&As, and pretty much every time somebody asks the question, how do I stay motivated? How many of you guys have ever asked yourself that question? Like, man, I know what I should be doing. I know the step I can take. And if I don't, I know where to find someone that's going to help me, mentor me, model me. Information is always a one click away. Like everything we need to know on demand today. Conversations like this, I hope they help. But the question is, okay, I know how to take the step, but I just don't feel like taking the step. How do I, quote unquote, motivate myself to do the thing I know I should do, to take the step I know part of me wants to take, but something in me is keeping me from taking? And a lot of people use the term motivation. Let's be honest, how many of you guys have ever been in that place where you're like, yeah, really should. Nope, not gonna do it right now. And then we beat ourselves up for not having the drive or the motivation we think we should have. So it's like a double negative. We don't even take the step, and then we beat ourselves up for not taking the step, and we get in this conundrum of, man, I'm not motivated. Personally, I don't like the term motivation. I love the term urgency. Urgency. Urgency is what we should strive for. And I have some just personal lessons, little hacks, little tips, and helps get me through those times where I need that extra push. Real quick, check in. I want to say hello. Who's out there? Who's with me? Who's live? Say hello below. Give me a, how are you? Good morning. How you feeling? Tell me something good that's going on in your world right now. The only way I know you're there is if you tell me you're there. Otherwise, you're just a number on the view ticker. And I want to know who you are. I want to know you're with me. So drop me a comment below so I can say hello back. And let's dive into this topic of urgency. And would love your perspective and conversation on it. Positive urgency, because I think there's a difference between a positive drive and maybe a negative urgency. So how does that start? I think a positive urgency, the ability to use the vision of what's to come tomorrow to create a drive in us today, I think it starts with a shift on focusing on the right finish line. Ooh, king snake. Just missed him. He was fast. Woo! And when I say the right finish line, I think a lot of people create a false urgency, and what sometimes can be a negative urgency, by focusing on the wrong finish line. I think if we're focused on a finish line that is pushed on us, that is fabricated or given to us, that doesn't align with a bigger picture, I think it has a negative effect, because we find ourselves with a deadline that we're not really aligned to going after. We tell ourselves we gotta go do it. There's something in us that doesn't move us forward, and then we feel guilt for not to ourselves, or resentment toward the person or the thing that gave us that fake finish line in the first place. And this happens a lot in kind of the career force, workforce. Morning. And when I say we got to focus on the right finish line, we got to extend our perspective to focus on really the only finish line that matters, and that's the final finish line. You guys, there's only one finish line. In life, there is no finish line, because in life, there's only one finish line, and that's the end. Whenever that finish line is. And I'm not going to get morbid, I'm not going to get dark, I'm not going to get down, but I think we have to start with the right finish line in mind in order to create the right positive energy and positive urgency in our life. And the way I would frame this question to yourself is, when we cross the final finish line, whenever that may be, and God help us all, it's a long time away for each of us, but we ever don't know. When we cross that finish line and we look back at our run, we look back at our race, we look back at our life, what are going to be the things that are most important? What are going to be the things that are the highlights, the smiles, the joy, the fulfillment? And the real question, if you want to create a positive urgency, is what do we not want to regret? And if we go to the final finish line and put ourselves in that moment, looking back, we have the ability to course correct now. What are the things when I cross that line I don't want to have on a regret list? I'll share with you guys mine. And I've gone through this exercise, I don't know how many times over the years. And some of you guys maybe have as well, and maybe you already have answers, and maybe they're the same answers. Or maybe you have in the past, and you gotta ask again. As we grow, evolve, we learn, perspective shifts. You might have a different answer, and that's okay. If you've never asked yourself the question, I just asked it for you. So give yourself your first answer. There's no right or wrong. There's no stress about it. You know you. For me, the thing that I'm not going to regret when I cross my final finish line is having wasted time, wasted talent, wasted energy, which when I add up those things in my mind is a wasted life. To me, that's the number one thing I refuse to regret, is wasting time, wasting talent, wasting energy, physically, emotionally, mentally, which in some is a wasted life. That's mine. And some of you may share the same. How many of you guys, if you look back, right, you want to make sure you gave it your all, you played all out. When it comes to time, you want to make sure you lived life on your own terms. You pursued the things that you want. You spent time where it mattered. You know, talent is one of the ones that sneaks up on us. So many people spend their life stressed out about the things they're not good at, fixating on weaknesses they've been told they have, focusing on the things that others do better than them, looking at what's missing, as opposed to focusing on our strengths, our gifts, our talents. And to me, that's the biggest regret, is having lived an entire life trying to chase what we don't have instead of using what we do have to impact others. Energy, because at the end of the day, energy is our life. And so often our energy gets robbed physically, emotionally, mentally, by not learning how to play the emotional intelligence game, by letting emotional hijackers rob our mind, fixate, stew, anxiety, stress, depression. Which all in all those little moments, whether it's a wasted minute, a wasted hour, a wasted day, a wasted week, a wasted month, a wasted year, you add them up all in between, you got a wasted life. Years may be the same, maybe some of the same, maybe something totally different. But I think it starts with shifting your perspective to focusing on the only finish line, the final finish line. And then looking back, not the manufactured finish line that's right in front of you today or next week or next month. If you want positive urgency, real drive, real fire, real ignition, real activation, real motivation, if that's what you're looking for. And I think when you start looking backwards, it'll now change the perspective on a real, authentic, genuine, raw urgency. And to me, then it becomes really focusing on doing what you're meant to do and becoming who you're meant to be. A lot of you guys have heard that from me. If we've been walking together, if you watch my TED Talk, it's kind of my passion, my mission is to help people make that shift. But when it comes to doing what we're meant to do, especially right now more than ever, because we're being challenged to rethink, right, careers, businesses, economics, jobs. I mean, unemployment numbers are staggering right now. My heart goes out to everybody affected. We're in the middle of a reinvention season. So we should be asking ourselves, hey, this isn't just a time of obstacle, this is a time of opportunity. It's not that we have to, it's that we get to reinvent right now. We have this pause that we get to reevaluate, and now we get to reinvent our go forward. It's an opportunity. in this time now more than ever, we should be asking ourselves as we do that, well, what is it that I'm meant to do? And to me, that comes with an alignment of our passion, our potential, and our purpose. And I bring that up in this conversation because when you're in alignment in those directions, you have a real, raw urgency, a drive, a motivation. Passion is something that you're naturally drawn to. You don't have to force yourself. You find your mind thinking about it, racing about it. You get excited. Your physiology changes when you're doing something you genuinely enjoy. You got a natural fuel. That's not coincidence. Your body is chemically and physiologically wired to give you a physical energy when you're moving in a direction you're passionate about. So that's an urgency built into you when you're doing what you're passionate for and about. Potential goes in line with our gifts, our skills, our talents. Same thing. Your body is wired, built for certain traits. And when you put energy in a direction of a natural gift and a natural talent, it comes easier. You go faster. You get a natural acceleration. You have an exponential growth curve. And lastly, purpose means you're doing it for a reason greater than yourself. You're doing it for a reason to serve others. And again, it gives you an energy. It gives you an urgency. So guys, when we move in these directions, that's why you hear so many people talk about passion and pursuing purpose and focusing on strengths. It's because it gives you a natural urgency that's not manufactured. It's not a motivation. It's not a fabrication. It's a raw drive, a fire to move you forward. It's an urgency. And therefore, I find when people are struggling to have a positive urgency, a sustained urgency, quote unquote, lack of motivation, it's generally because they're out of alignment in one or all of those categories. They're not passionate about what they're doing. They're not in a gift zone. They're focused too much on themselves and their immediate, needs or desires or motives, and not enough on those around us, the community, the whole, and serving. And when you're out of alignment on all of those, I hate to be a downer, but my belief is you're never going to have a real urgency in life because you're not meant to be doing it. You were not built for it. You're going to feel like you're running up a down escalator your whole life. You're going to feel like no matter how much you put in, it's not going to move. You're going to feel like you can't get yourself inspired or motivated. And you guys, there's a reason for that. Because you're running down a road you're not meant to go down in the first place. But when you get in alignment, the energy becomes natural because you're built for it. So guys, when I'm talking about an urgency, I'm talking about a wake up in the morning with a smile on your face, a feet hit the floor and your day's off running. I'm talking about the ability to go. And you know what? You don't get tired. You don't get worn down. And even when you're physically drained, you're mentally high because you're moving in a direction that you're meant to. And that's what I mean by doing what you're meant to do, is aligning those things. But Blake, you said not just do, but be. Well, the way you be who you're meant to be is to simply stop trying to be who everybody else wants you to be. You guys, it's easier said than done, but it's actually a simple solution. You don't have to figure out who you are. You just have to stop being who you aren't. You have to shift from this supposed to that everybody has put on you, carve that away, and what's left is you. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping people make that shift, shine a light on the supposed to that so many people are imprisoned, trapped, boxed in, to figure out who they are underneath. Because that's the life force that you have. It's the old Michelangelo quote, right? When he made the great David. It's awesome if you haven't seen it in person out there in Florence. It's a sight to see. Get out there as soon as we're allowed to be out there. Florence, one of my favorite cities in the world, for sure. But he has a quote that goes something like, well, how'd you make David? And he said, simple. I just removed all of the stone that wasn't David. And that's the concept with you. You don't have to figure out who you are and who you're meant to be. You just gotta remove all of the layers of other people telling you you're supposed to be, and what's left is you, and that's the fire. So guys, that's my thoughts on positive urgency today. And my hope for all of you is to stop trying to chase motivation, stop trying to chase fabricated finish lines, and then wondering and beating yourself up while you're not moving forward. And start focusing on tapping into a raw urgency that all of us have inside of you that will be let out. When you focus on the final finish line, the only real finish line, look back, ask yourself, what regrets will I not have on my list? Maybe you adopt some of the same beliefs that, you know what, wasted time, wasted talent, wasted energy, wasted life will not be on that regret list. And it forces you to start asking yourself, what are you meant to do? Align your purpose, your passion, your potential, and start to clear out the things that are not that, so that you can also shed the layers of supposed to and leave what's left, which is meant to. Beautiful view on the top today. Clear skies in Santa Monica. Trails are open. Masks are still on. We're still social distancing, but a positive energy is in the air. And my hope for all of you guys, as we're in this season of reinvention, if we're in this season of recreation, look at it as an opportunity. Even if you're going through challenge right now, obstacle right now, even if what you did know is being taken away and stripped or stopped or paused or furloughed, maybe there's a reason and maybe there's an opportunity in all of this. Maybe there's a meant to in all of this. What I do know for sure is in order for you to move forward and excel the way you can, you got to have a real urgency, and that isn't fabrication. That's built inside of you. And hopefully today's conversation helps you find that, helps you activate that, and helps you move forward, because you need it. The people that depend on you need you to have that. And the more of us that are moving in that direction, the better the world is. Let me know if you guys got value from this today. Would love your feedback and topics on the conversation. I'd love to know, looking back, what's on your list of no regrets. I'd love to know any tips or tricks or hacks, beliefs, principles, practices that you found to give you that fire. Because if it works for you, it might work for others. Feel free to comment below. And hey, you have the power to be a light today, to be a voice today. And one way to do that is just find one person that you think this message will help, one person that this will resonate for, one person that needs to get moving again, that needs to, find that drive again, right? One person that needs to get activated again, that's having a hard time, right, getting motivated right now. And just tag them in the comments below, or share this post to their wall, or share it to your feed. You can be a light with a simple action. In the meantime, for all of you guys, please stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane. And until the next time we all get to walk together, have a great day. Have a great week. See all of you guys soon.